Welcome to another edition of the E-Spot with Camille. The E-Spot is your location for the latest in entertainment, beauty, and design from the people who make it. Thanks for joining.
It's got Torry. 3, 2. Hey, it's got Torry.
And Louis Dix.
And we're live at the Raleigh Improv doing this interview, y'all. Hey, it's a lot of gems in here, so make sure you lock in, take a look at it, the whole thing. And we are live at the Raleigh Improv.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the E-Spot with Camille. I'm your host, Camille Cower, and today we're doubling the funny and the legacy with two iconic voices in comedy and entertainment. First up, he is the creator of Phat Tuesdays, a comedy pioneer who helped launch legends and kept audiences rolling from Def Comedy Jam to the big screen. It's the one and the only Guy Torry. And joining him is a true veteran of stage and screen, the warm-up king, and a storyteller who's graced everything from The Fresh Prince to Bel-Air to Hanging with Mr. Cooper, the incomparable Louis Dix Jr. Together, these two have seen it all, done it all, and still keep us laughing. Buckle up for some behind-the-scenes stories, some stand-up wisdom, and some real talk from two of the comedians' finest, who will definitely be a slam dunk. You'll get it later, I promise. All right. Again, thank you so much for joining us today here.
Louis did.
And
Just one X.
Yeah.
D-I-X. Thank you.
So you guys have a lot of wisdom. Between the two of you, you've accomplished a lot. So tell me, what do you think has been one of your biggest moments that you've had?
I would say the biggest moments is the opportunity when I first met Robin Harris. And that was more or less like my intro to learning comedy. And then I was to meet Sinbad. And that was more or less like my undergraduate. And then I was able to work with Dr. Bill Cosby, which was my graduate. And then being able to humble myself back down to understanding of learning to work and grind at the comedy clubs. And that's what Guy has given me the opportunity to come work at the comedy clubs, because mine was more based on warm-ups. But given the opportunity by Craig Robinson, excuse me, and Guy to come open up for them and do the...
Since you brought up Craig Robinson, he's all up in the news saying that he's retiring.
Yes.
Do you think that's a real thing? Do you really think he's retiring, or is it a ploy? Is it a way to get everybody excited? Because Rolling Stones has retired. Every other comedian has said they're retiring, or for that matter, singer, and then they keep going on tour. Do you think he's really retiring?
It's hard to say because Craig Robinson is such eclectic, has a master's in music, and education, so he's just so gifted that I think he has other things on the horizon, but I'm sure, he loves stand-up. And I don't know, I haven't spoken to him. I've been wanting to reach out to him, but he's Craig Robinson. And he's everyone's, you want to be Craig Robinson. If you're in this business, you want to be able to sell out comedy, do film, do television, and he's just pure capital talent.
Yeah. What about you? So you've been in the game a pretty long time. Do you even think about retiring, or you're like, not until I accomplish what certain thing? What's your goal post that once I hit this, maybe I'll slow down?
I can truly understand why Craig says he's retiring. It's a grind. He's talented. He's done TV, film, like, Louis said, and stage and clubs and all of that. And he's come from a music family. His brothers have been gifted in music. But I can understand this comedy game is a grind. Being on the road all the time and things like that. But he said he has something he's working on, and he'll tell that later. But I get it. I posted on the page, like, man, we're going to miss you. We're going to miss your talent. But I understand. Because mentally and physically, when you get older, this road work is a grind, but we do it for the audience. The prize is people showing up and laughing. It's not them that we retire from. It's the traveling. It's the airplanes, it's the hotels, it's being away from family, being away from your home. That's the stuff we really retire from. It's not the people or the prize. That's the golden ring. That's why we do it. But other stuff in between is what he's probably retiring from. But he'll be back. Comedy is crack. You don't kick that habit. You may maintain it for a little bit, but you're gonna come back to crack. You're gonna come back to comedy because he's a comedian. It's natural with him, so he's gonna come back. He retired for a moment, but he's a comedian. He's not a comic. He's a comedian. Big difference.
Yeah. So explain a little bit of the difference. What is the difference between comic and comedian? Because you are also an actor as well.
Right.
So yeah, triple threat. Tell us, explain it.
The definition I heard of comic and comedians, and Lewis probably has a whole different perspective on this, but a comic says funny things, a comedian makes things funny. Two different things. And Lewis being, the OG that he is, I would love to hear his definition of comic versus comedian.
A comedian is one who lives to be funny.
See?
So
What I tell you.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I
PhD.
mean, you could decide to say, I'm going to be a comic, and I'm going to make money, and I'm going to earn a living, and I'm going to take care of my family. And the comedian says, this is something that's in me, and I'm going to go ahead and just enjoy it, nurture it, make it better for me so that I can keep giving. And that's why certain comedians keep doing it, Richard Pryor and forever, because you want to keep giving. And a comic is one who's, I'm earning a living.
And Lewis Dix.
And I'm one who's I'm just a grinder. You have to, at one point as an artist, humble yourself and realize that I'm an artist. That's the beauty of being a great artist, is humbling yourself and knowing that there are going to be guys who will surpass you, guys who you catch up with, guys who you work with, and realize that this is just an art and I'm an artist. It becomes beautiful once you accept the fact, and your family accepts the fact that you're an artist.
And your fans.
Yeah, and your fans. And stop putting the demands on you that, hey, why you not this? Why you not that?
Right.
No, I am who I am, and I enjoy it.
I want to, if I can tag that, there's no diss on being a comic. It's time to be a comic and time to be a comedian. There's times when you need to be a comic where it's just you're single. Like if you look at an artist, a hip hop artist or R&B artist or whatever musician, they have their hot single when they're coming out, but then they have the album. So the single is being a comic. In Hollywood, you have 5 to 7 minute set when you're showcasing, and that's your single. This is who I am. This is my style of comedy, but it's not the full album. A comedian is when you put the full album out there. You got 12, 13 tracks, or who you are. There's no disrespect being a comic. There's a time to be a comic and a time to be a comedian. Some people are both. Some people are either or, and it's just who you are.
Since y'all brought it up, how do you feel about, because there's a lot of hot topics right now with artists, and like with film industry just being dead, almost slow, almost creeping at the door, especially with AI, and then with, I guess, the TikTok comics where they're only doing crowd work. There's a lot of, like, from our side, we see infighting with the industry. How do you guys feel about that? I heard you mention Matt Rife, so that's what made me think of the question, is because he got in trouble for some of his crowd work stuff and like fighting on social media. But at the same time, if you're funny, I feel like, and there's nothing off limits. Do you ever feel like with this industry, it's harder to even, this is a long question, even harder to like figure out how to make sure you don't lose your job, get canceled, or that you can stay relevant with all the different things that are going on with AI or not being able to work in film and so on?
If you worry about all that shit, you need to get out the game. That's a lot of shit to worry about. Be you. As Lewis said earlier, you're an artist. And you didn't learn that earlier in your career than later, as you're an artist. You're the god of your world. You created your set. So you're God. Nobody can tell you how to create your creation. And if you don't like it, then turn it the fuck off. If you like it, then still rock with me. So Matt Rife, he found his niche. You gotta find your niche. You find your niche, and that's good. And Matt Rife, we've seen him grow from 13 to whatever, doing what he's doing. He found his game. And crowd work is nothing new. We've been doing work forever. Before I started doing stand-up, and Lewis can tell you way better than I can, the great Robin Harris, rest in peace, was the king of crowd work. And so it's popular now, but it's been around before slaves did work in the cotton fields. People think comedy, slaves was doing comedy. Back in the day when slaves were picking cotton, they were being funny. And masters used to be entertained by them. And if you were funny, they would take slaves to other plantations to perform for other slave masters. So niggas been on tour for a long time. So crowd work is crowd work. It was called cotton picking work back then. But he can tell you way before I started doing comedy, crowd work is nothing new. And Matt Rife is just great at it. And Nate Jackson as well, they've been, popularized by being, crowd work comedians, but they're comedians as well.
Since God has sent me to the slave part, guess I'm so old. I started off with back in the slave days, right? Emancipation Proclamation, Juneteenth.
We're still celebrating. We're still celebrating.
He knew Harriet Tubman.
So I
Original face.
I think
Right.
some of the things that separate you is the fact of you decide what you're selling.
Yes.
And then as an artist, you decide I'm selling this or I'm selling that. And then you, like I said, you find your niche and then you sell it. And then you take hits with it, you take pluses with it, and you roll with it. And
Pluses and minuses.
yes, and it's something that's part of the journey. And that's the beauty of being an artist or being anything in life is your journey. And if you can learn to appreciate it, understand it, and then go ahead and make money and a living and find your niche and find out the people who love you and be able to do your job, finish it, go home, enjoy your family, yourself, then life is good.
It's funny you say that because two quotes I have from rappers that stick with me is Lil Wayne and Kanye. Well, both talk about it on the show. But Lil Wayne has a line called, I fuck who I want and fuck who I don't. He was talking about girls, but I took that in relation to stand-up and as an artist. I fuck who fuck with me, and whoever don't, it's okay. It's all right. You're not a hater. You just don't like my brand of comedy. It's okay. But I'm gonna stay with who fucks with me. So I fuck who I want and fuck who I don't. And Kanye had a line, before he was, the other Kanye. Everything I'm not makes me everything I am. Everything I'm not makes me everything I am. So fuck when I'm not. I'm gonna do who I am. And when you have those grounded in you, everybody's not gonna like you. No matter what you do and what industry you're in, you're not gonna have, everybody's not gonna be a fan of your work, and it's okay. It doesn't make them a hater. It just makes them, they don't like your brand of art. And it's okay. Jesus had haters. And he was perfect. Not gonna put my, I'm not on the same line with Jesus, but he was the ultimate. And he had haters. What makes you think your ass ain't gonna have haters?
Facts. Now, I wonder, because of social media at the same time, do you think it makes being able to connect with your audience or even promote your shows? Because before you'd have to go from radio shows to radio shows or have to go all these different places, but now you can connect directly with social media. Do you think it's been a good thing or a bad thing in that sense? I'll start with you, Liz.
I think it's fluid in the sense that the people who are with you.
You sound like Stephen A. Smith. It's fluid. It's fluid.
I mean, the people who are with you because they've grown up with you.
Yes.
People who haven't grown up with you are going to catch up with you. And people who are just discovering you are going to discover you. And hopefully you connect with them on some sense. Oh, my father used to say that. Oh, he reminds me of my uncle. Or, oh, I remember him back in the day. I can't believe he's still hanging. Because that's what I get opening up for guys. I get people saying, oh man, I remember you back in the day. I'm still glad you're doing it. Because most of the people, deep inside, they're happy that you're still doing what you love to do. And you touch them in some sort of way. So that makes you feel good. And the fact that hopefully you connect with people and you connect with a comedian who allows you to just keep going.
And we're on the same show. We're co-stars. Yeah. It's not like he opened up for me. He just goes on before me. He just loves the art of stand-up. He doesn't really need to do it. But because it's in his bones and it's in his DNA and he loves the game so much, that audience is a draw. And he lives in LA. Being on the road is that you get to experience different audiences and different energies. And we all want that. We don't want to be a local person. So it's like...
And just to piggyback on that, you do need it as an artist. You need
validation.
You need that opportunity to continue your art and your craft. So when someone opens up and gives you that opportunity, hopefully you're appreciative of it. Some artists are not. They're like, oh, I should be. But you have to understand that, no, this is an opportunity. Tony is the guy that I sub for. When he's busy, guy calls me. So I appreciate Tony. So I'm glad you're working, because I'll take your handy-ups.
Man, homie already told us he's an empty nester, so he's got a lot of bills to pay, and he's got a lot of free time with a wife, and she's probably got the honey-do list that keeps getting longer every time you go out of town.
Absolutely.
And you'd rather pay somebody to do it yourself. So you both have shared the stage with legends like Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock. Ever have a pinch me moment where you're just like, I can't believe this is my life?
Yeah, I've had a bunch of those moments in
Yeah.
the sense of if I'm in the same place with Eddie Murphy, he'll come up and say hello to me. And my overall goal was to have my peers respect me and say, hey, Louis Dix. That's why, just to say my name and
You want your comedy Mount Rushmore to be proud of you.
Yes, and to say that he's still in the game. He's carved out his niche. Because my niche was television warm-ups. When I first started, we had so many guys that were so funny. You know, Martin Lawrence, Chris Rock, Sinbad, Robert Townsend, Chris Tucker. So all those guys were just killing. Joe Torry.
Joe Torry.
Joe Torry. And then so when we were all starting, I looked at it, I was like, you know what, I need to find my lane. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I used to have the joke about
Okay, I wouldn't tell it.
I just have to think about how, you know, old ladies sitting on the bus stops with their legs open. You know, you be mad looking at them, but you're like, oh, her legs open. You know, I was nasty.
So I gotta tell this story because I've been knowing him for over 30 years, and we just started working together a couple months ago. And I've known him all this time, and it dawned on me when I first saw Mr. Tix, right? DIX. I was in St. Louis. It's 1991. I wasn't even doing stand-up. I went to see Luther Vandross, right? And a comedian came at the Fox Theater in St. Louis, Missouri. And a comedian came out and did the show, right? And funny bits. And I remembered, I wasn't even doing stand-up back then. And I remember after the show calling my brother Joe saying, hey man, this is our comedian, man, he was funny as hell. They announced Robert Harris was coming to the Fabulous Fox next month. I want to go. But all these years I've been knowing Louis, I didn't tell him this story but it was Louis Dix, who was a comedian open for Luther Vandross. Wow. And it was like, wow, it was like the second ever comedian I ever seen live. And I didn't see my brother live until I really got to LA. Was it LA? No, it was actually, it was maybe LA. Anyway, but Louis is when he was, so back then, I don't think you cursed back then.
No.
On that Luther show.
No.
That's what I mean, because I don't remember you cussing on that show.
No. That was part of the prerequisite. You could not curse with Luther.
I was Luther, man, to work with.
Oh,
I saw the documentary.
He was a sound manager that worked with him on his concerts and stuff. Popcorn Miller, I interviewed with him. So I'm like, wait, another person that can tell me about Luther?
It was interesting because you know, first it was Tommy Davidson, Sinbad. Those are the guys. Everybody wanted the
Legends.
Wanted the Luther tour. So my time came around. Then you had to be clean. And Luther called me and said, listen, they say, give Luther a call. He wants to talk to you. And so I called Luther and he said, listen, I need you to write a joke about my weight.
Really?
Because he said, I don't know if the audience if I'm going to come out heavy or slim. So I want to make sure that they're not shocked. So I was like, okay. So I wrote the joke about how, hey guys, doesn't matter, women, you love Luther. He could be big or heavy, it don't matter. You know, he's still going to say, hey, flip it. Turn around. Remember that joke about flipping?
Rubber dime.
Right.
BBD.
Right. He's all right, that's good. And you couldn't say the N word. You couldn't say anything with Luther.
Oh, I want to work for that.
Yeah. So it was my turn to do Luther, and I did 2 tours with him. I did the Anita Baker tour where she left, and then En Vogue came on.
I heard about that.
I was on stage, and then him and En Vogue were having issues, and then the producer said, keep going, because Luther wouldn't let them walk in front of him. They had to walk around the arena. And it was crazy, but it was an education. After the show, I used to sit down in the lobby because he stayed at the Ritz-Carlton all the time. Oh, yeah. And I would ask him questions. I would ask him questions. And he used to tell me about holding the microphone. He said, you have to hold the microphone like a glass of champagne so that the audience doesn't know you're actually holding the microphone. So that taught me how to just hold the mic and not keep moving it.
Yeah.
Because the audience would notice it.
Who's when you do that song?
That was the only time I would hold it right there. So I learned how to hold the music. And then just how it was, and then the band used to bother me because I had just got married and I wasn't, because girls used to come in U-Haul trucks. He's like, hey, you got to get something. I was like, no, I'm just married. But just learning how to be a pro. And then I had a green outfit, a blue outfit, and a yellow outfit suit I used to wear.
Right.
And I used to have to match it up with Luther. If he wore blue, I couldn't wear blue.
Yeah.
If he wore yellow, I couldn't wear blue.
I do the same thing on stage as a comedian, yeah.
Right. So that was the incredible thing of getting that Luther tour. Now, during the time, that was the whole comedy thing. Because like you did Jill Scott.
And Maxwell, yeah.
Right. So we all would get tours. And the whole thing
musicians.
was, it's like, okay, I used to open up for the Righteous Brothers. That's why I started doing clean comedy. Oh yeah, Ray Charles, the Righteous Brothers.
Wow. What? Why am I in this interview?
No, that was the thing. That's why I went into
I'm not worthy.
because I knew that I would. Because all the other guys were so funny, I'm like, I'm not that funny, so I'm going to create a new lane, and my lane's going to be.
I ain't that funny clean. So
Because I was like, I'm going to get Sinbad and Dr. Cosby's hand me ups. So that's why I started doing clean
hand me
comedy.
ups.
Wow. You know,
This is educational for me. I'm learning so much right now.
look, and you've been knowing him for 30 years. It's funny.
Yeah, but we never really sat. We see each other in passing. He had podcasts. I've done this podcast, but we never really sat down. And then when I first started working with him, he would watch my set and would critique it in a great way and give me notes and then tell me gems that Dr. Cosby dropped on him. He was sharing with me, and I was like, "Oh, cool," because I would do the same thing. When I first started doing stand-up, Joe and Ricky Harris and Yvette Wilson and Chris Rock would always give me gems. I would give them to the other comedians that were in my circle, and I shared it. So the fact that he shared those with me was like great, because that's what it is. When you're a real comedian and you're an artist and you love this game, you're going to share the ones with the real ones. Don't give pearls to swine. There's some fakey fakes out there that we ain't going to get. We let you crash and burn because you ain't listening anyway. Mm-hmm. But the ones who are true, we're going to share the gems that came down from greats and they passed on to us. It's our job to pass it on.
Mm-hmm. And that was the beauty of my connecting with Guy, because I rolled up on Guy and I was like, hey, listen, if your first team is not available, give me a call. I'd love to open up. And he was like, all right, cool.
I was uncomfortable because like, this is a legend. Come on, man. It was weird.
And it goes back to humbling yourself and saying, listen, I just want to get the reps. I just want to be able to go on stage and get the reps and just keep my comedy going. And he was nice enough to give me a call when Tony didn't come. He's like, all right, man, can you do this date? I was like, yeah. And that was the beauty of it. You have to humble yourself and say, listen, man. And every time he gets funny about it, because I call him boss. It's like, hey, boss, do you need this? Do you need that? You don't have to do that. But in my mind, yes, I do. Because my job is to make sure you're ready, that you're prepared, because your audience is coming to see you. My job is to prepare you. And that came from theater.
Now, I will say this, and this is for all you comics out there for years and asking to come on the road with me, when my first team couldn't make it. You know, I had Miss Pretty Ricky and then Tony Tone, and it was a long line. But this is Louis Dix. So they no offense, cancel all you motherfuckers. Yo, this is Louis Dix. Y'all ain't gonna give me the game and the gems that he dropped on me. So sorry, but not sorry.
Wait, and then this is
that line was long too.
Yeah. Oh, I know it was. I know it was. I was surprised when you called me. I was like,
oh man, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
Wait, this isn't going to end up in a Shaw's interview again where they're calling you out. How dare you not include me in your Fat Tuesday?
Or not this. Goddamn. They understand.
So wait, have you two made up since then? Since
who?
You and Cat Williams, when he was trying to say.
We never had beef.
He was on. Right, let me see. I'm about to call it.
Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay, where he was trying to say all this stuff about Fat Tuesday, how you had comedians and different people on there. I was like, dude, he had Snoop Dogg on there too. He was not a comedian. He had people on there because Reggie Hudlin tells you who to have on your Fat Tuesdays. Well, you let him do what he wants to do, right? So same with Lewis. You're going to let the master at work.
Yes and no. Reggie didn't tell me who to have on the dock. I already had everybody on the dock, and Reggie was like, boom. But yeah, you listen to Reggie Hudlin. He's one of the greatest directors, producers of all time, TV, film, live, no matter what. But I had already had all the research done. So with Cat Williams, we never had beef. Cat Williams did his Club Shay Shay, he mentioned Fat Tuesdays, and some of the things that he said wasn't true. I don't think it was intentional. I think he just wasn't knowledge of the behind the scenes of what happened in those incidences. So what I did was I posted the receipts from when he said wasn't true. I posted the truth. So me and Cat, and I saw him after that. I went to one of the shows, and I went up to him and said, hey man, love you boy, we good, right? And it was all love. He just misspoke, that's all. I don't think it was intentional. He's a genius, he knows that. Yeah, I didn't particularly like the whole, Club Shay Shay interview because it was boom, but that's Cat Williams. Yeah. I'm saying we're wired differently. And that's his method, and I see why he did it. He's a genius, and I understand why he did what he did. I may not agree with what he did, but it's him. That's his world. He created. I can't tell him how to create his world and what he does. So, yeah, me and Cat got love, and never no beef with me and Cat.
And I was really, like a lot of comedians, I was sitting there waiting for Cat to say my name. You know, that became the whole thing. That was the underlining thing with all the comedians, like, he ain't say my name, man.
He ain't say my name.
You know, bump me up, you know.
Turn to Destiny's Child.
Yeah. Hey, Cat he is a genius.
His IQ is 160. He's Mensa. He's certifiably, I'm not just saying that we're a genius. No, he's certifiably a genius. So I understand why he did what he did. I totally understand it. I may not agree with it, but I understand it. And that's the respect that we've always had as professionals, and it's just as friends.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, just real quick. One word, 2 words, or more. I will never neglect and say, don't stop, don't tell me more information. But, so who's the funniest person you've worked with?
Funniest person I ever worked with is me. There's nobody funny to me that worked with me. Acting wise, the funniest person I ever worked with was Eddie Murphy in the movie Life.
I would have to say the funniest person I've ever had the pleasure of studying is Dr. Bill Cosby, without a doubt. And I love Eddie Murphy. Talk about a comic that excites you when he talks. Man. It's Eddie Murphy.
Even when he doesn't, you don't see him in like movies like Shrek and his voice, your ears are like, because what was on the script and when it came out of his mouth,
just love.
Yeah.
Truly different.
I love Eddie Murphy. So, what's your best after show food spot? I know you were talking about home cooking, but let's just say after show, what is your thing to eat?
My favorite thing to eat after the show, if I'm in a relationship, is pussy. Other than that, best meal of the day. I'm a vegetarian. I don't really eat that late. So I would say a cigar.
I would have to say my wife's spaghetti with turkey meat and sausage.
Pause.
Okay, so do you binge Netflix or are you more into going to the movie theater?
I'm both. I love binging Netflix when I'm at home, but the movie theater experience, nothing like it. Someone who's done TV and film, and that film, that big screen, there's nothing like 70 millimeters and the sound. And you're in a company of other people that you don't even know, and you're all experiencing that experience at the same time. There's nothing like theater and movies at the movies.
My getaway is I usually take one day out of the week when I can, or every other week, and just go watch 3 movies.
Really? 3?
Yeah, about 3 movies. But I don't pay for all of them.
Oh,
I go to one and then I go, sorry.
Dig in like rabbit time
all day long.
All
day long, man.
I did that as a teenager. When you said 70 millimeters, immediately I was thinking of Sinners. Have you guys seen Sinners? What did you think of it?
Ryan, if I can call him by his first name, I apologize.
Coogler?
Yeah, he's just an incredible talent. And of course, he's from the Bay Area, where Bay Area just puts out talent.
Bay Area!
I mean, so Sinners, it was incredible. I totally enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Being a sinner.
Don't want him in your house.
Being a filthy rat. I'm not worthy, but I'm working on being, I gave my life to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
He gave it right back. But yeah, I'm trying to give it to him again. But no, Sinners was great. The message in it, to me, was never let Satan in. And whether it be alcohol, drugs, sex, anything that's not of God is Satan. So when you let any of those things in, your vices that are not good, toxic people, when you let them in, don't invite them in. Let them stay out there. Right? Look at America.
Yeah.
We invited Satan into the White House.
Yeah.
And look at how this country is right now. And I don't miss my words when I say that. We invited Satan in, and now this country is right now going to shit because of that. But it's happening for a reason. To stay the course, and America will be America again. And you just have to be patient. But we invited him in, and we should have never invited him in by voting for him. Not that I voted for him, or a lot of y'all, but still. And I'm sorry to make your podcast political. I am who I am. I can't be phony.
You're fine by me. I volunteer with the Democratic Party, so they already know.
Democrats need to get their shit together too.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We need to do a better job at being. Yeah, our party needs help too. Yeah.
We need to be fighting for us, not against us. But one of the no, actually two more. If you had a $50 million budget, would you make a stand-up special, a comedy series, or a movie?
I would do a sitcom.
If I had a $50 million budget, I would do a comedy series. I would do a stand-up comedy series because I want to highlight comedians, past, present, future. You know, honor the past, showcase the present. Comedians who have been in the game for a long time were not given that platform to show how funny they are. And then for the future, these young guns coming up, the male and females who are doing stand-up, who have a voice, and to usher in the next generation of comedians who are going to take over comedy when we retire. So past, present, future, I'll do a comedy series, and it'll be past, present, future, because I love the comedy genre, the art, our craft. And if we don't pass the torch to each other and we don't embrace each other, then our genre may die. So we ought to learn from each other, past, present, and future. Know the past, respect the present, but nurture the future.
Why you got? Who's your comedian goat, living or dead?
My comedian goat is me. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Past, present, or future?
Me.
Okay.
I'm a goat. You know why I'm a goat?
Yeah.
Because I'm a Capricorn.
Fair, same. Okay, how about you? He said something crazy about Capricorns during his stand-up.
I was going to address that when I'm on stage after it too. Like, what was you said? We don't pay people back and stuff like that. Yeah. We hold grudges though. We're the hardest workers though.
Yeah.
Capricorns, we're very resilient. We're very focus driven. We are hard workers, Capricorns.
True.
Facts.
They ain't gonna pay you back. We're hard workers.
Because we're not going to give you the money in the first place.
Yeah, my goat, because I've had I don't know if this word is appropriate, but an intimate relationship with Dr. Cosby. And
We know way on that.
yeah, so I would say as far as my goat, and the young guns, it's just so many of them. I just love their heart and energy, and their this is who I am.
But we don't like the sense of entitlement that some of them have.
Yes, but then again, it's that I believe that will work itself out because of the art itself.
When they bomb.
Yes, and when they walk into the reality of art, which is just a beautiful thing. When you
you don't get a retake on stage.
no,
You can't shoot a scene 50 times before you get it right.
mm-hmm.
And I respect what these young social medians are doing. Bob Sumner coined that phrase. And they're doing an amazing job at their skits. That's an amazing talent in itself. I respect that. But if you're going to come into this arena of stand-up comedy, you got to put the reps in. You got to get on stage and you got to put the work in and respect the craft. But if you're an OG like me and you want to do the social media thing, then you got to respect what they do too. You got to respect what they do, writing their sketches and doing their sketches, and it's just a wonderful thing. I applaud them and I embrace them.
And one of the guys, I had to really quickly look him up, was Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
Who is Josh Johnson.
My sister, who's older than you, she's old as dirt. She loves Josh.
Yeah, Johnson.
Roberta, sorry, Roberta.
Dr. Camille Cosby, Dr. Cosby's wife, loves Josh Johnson. I love him. He's just a force. And America's just, man, when he...
It's a lot of them. There's a lot of young ones out there, man, who's coming up, man. And, you know, we got to respect them. We got to mentor them and usher them in and salute them.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Johnson.
Wow. I know that you also do coaching. At least that's what your Twitter bio says. So
Hilarious.
how do people catch up with you to get some coaching if they want to take theirs to the next level?
What kind of coaching?
It's in his bio. You tell me.
I didn't really know that was even in my bio, but I'm an assistant varsity coach at Harper Westlake, a private school in Los Angeles, Studio City. And I've been coaching for a long time, for over 40 years. When I first got it.
Who's some of the names you coached?
Nick Jimenez Nick is one of our guys that's at Duke, but Johnny Juzang, who's at Utah. I love the art of coaching, and I coach my son, and it's a way of me giving back, and it also humbles me and allows me to stay balanced with this art and coming to this reality. And I just coach Dave Rabibo, who's the head of our program at Harvard Westlake, gave me the opportunity to continue coaching. And it's just a beautiful art.
Who's some of the people that come through Harvard Westlake, like that's going on to pro careers?
We have a couple kids at Harvard and a couple kids at Cornell, Robert Hinton and Adam Hinton, and we just have Jacob Higgins, whose mom is a news person in Channel 9 in Los Angeles. He's at Princeton. So we're a high-end school academically.
Ivy League.
Ivy League. And it's just, as an assistant coach, you take care of the bottom 7. That's who you work with. You don't work with the top 8 who play all the time. So I take pride in allowing them to make sure that they feel part of the team, that you pump them up, you make them feel important, and you just make them feel relative. And I enjoy that. That's just a part of me that keeps me grounded.
How does your stand-up career and experience interact with your coaching?
It allows me to, one, I try not to carry it over because you can't put their business out. But that's why.
As far as like not putting the business on stage, but from the stage and your art as a stand-up related in your coaching.
It allows me to do the art. Like I go back Monday, I have practice tomorrow. So I'll get off the plane. I'll feel good about who I am, Louis Dix, that I was applauded. I got laughs, and now I go back to saying, hey, you gotta do cut right. I told you to cut through. This is not the right plays, and I can get on them, and then I feel, it allows me just to understand that you're needed. Because when you walk into a gym and you have kids saying, hey coach, how you doing? Or you can tell a kid is not feeling good. You say, what's wrong with you? And they relate to you. It just gives you a sense of purpose. And that's what coaching does. It gives you a sense of purpose. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, as someone that works with the youth, so I'm the North Carolina Democratic Party teens advisor as well as the Wake Teen Dems advisor. And there's something about working with young people that keeps you motivated. It's like, this is what we're doing it for. This is who we're leaving the world for. So I'm really glad I asked you that question, even though it wasn't comedy coaching.
No.
I had no idea. Plus, maybe I can get some Duke tickets out of you. But no. But no, come back during spring. Come back during the basketball season.
North Carolina State, Chucky Brown, Torry Hall.
I like Chucky too.
How great is that? Yeah, because of Guy, got to meet Torry Holt and Chucky Brown. That's part of the gift of hanging out with Guy.
Yeah, no, Edwin Gibson from one of my favorite shows on Hulu and FX right now.
Yeah.
Is The Bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's a great news. You gotta watch that show.
So what's your favorite show since you brought up The Bear?
The Bear, I like The Bear. I like Godfather of Harlem.
Yeah, I love that.
There's so many good shows
Wait,
out
since
there.
you brought
I
up
like
basketball.
I like Duster.
Yeah, I haven't watched that.
But since you said that you're in basketball, have you watched Forever? Because he's like
Oh,
in
man.
the bottom 8.
Oh, Forever. Forever. Mark Rocker Kid.
Mark Rocker Kid.
And here's the thing about Forever. I've seen it 3 times, the whole series. She was a writer's assistant.
Girlfriends. You worked on Girlfriends.
Yes.
She was a writer's assistant on, I was doing punch-up writing and warm-up for, and I met her then. And to see where she is right now and what she's done. Girlfriends is Kelsey Grammer, who co-produced the Fat Tuesday documentary. So yeah, I'm so proud of what black women are doing right now in TV and film. And you know, I love what black women
Yeah, Myra Rocker Kill, I did warm up for Girlfriends, and I was...
Wait, you also worked on Friends, so you also worked with people that stole her show.
Yes.
And Living Single.
Yes, and then that was the beauty of...
The one black guy.
The beauty of I'm sorry.
I said, Fred. I meant Fred. But anyway.
Was that the fact that her son was at Campbell Hall while we were coaching that?
What's Campbell Hall?
Campbell Hall is a high school where he played. Campbell Hall is a high school in Studio City where her son played basketball, and he was a 3-point shooter. And I was coaching at Harvard Westlake, so we played against him. I used to see her and her husband in the stands. So
it was like Forever was your life playing out again.
Yeah, but I was like really upset that she cast some other guy as the coach. And she didn't cast me as the coach. I was like, come on, really? What we doing? But
like, I'm right here.
Yes.
But on that note, what can we catch you in next? Where are you guys going next? Are you gonna keep him in his one string?
Yeah, I'm with him in Ontario Improv. I'll be with Guy, and then whenever Tony has something else to do, I'll take his hand-me-ups, and then we just keep doing it.
Yeah, Tony is in #1 position, and you know, very strong #2 position.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, you can catch me on my websites and see what my schedule is, guytorry.com.
All right. Thanks again for being on the East Spot with Camille. I really appreciate you coming back and bringing your friend with us too.
Oh yeah, God,
this is awesome.
I couldn't do an interview and not have the legend.
And thank you for hooking us.
I learned a lot tonight because of this.
I want to go there and turn this off so I can talk off.
That was such a fun show. I enjoyed so much getting to hear from Guy Torry again, sharing some great wisdom, some new stories I hadn't heard before, and also getting that opportunity to talk to Louis Dix Jr., who has graced the screen, who has been the opener for some amazing stars. It was really a true delight. But make sure you watch this episode and share it with your friends. Comment, like, help my algorithm, help me help you, right? You want to keep this show going. It's 9 seasons. I need your help to keep it going to 10. So make sure you share, you tune in, you subscribe, you download, you do all the things, but make sure you also share with your friends so they can also learn about the E-Spot with Camille. And I'll see you again next time. Can't wait. Oh, and CamilleCower.com. You can also see me there. All right, y'all come back. You hear?
She had to get out her mama house. Daddy be tripping, now she be whipping. Ain't no more on granny couch. Fashion over, got that ass looking different. Make me wanna put her all in my mentions. Feeling like she was sent from above. Got me asking the Lord for forgiveness. Walking with confidence, look at her ambience. The reason these hoes be talking her IG, I stalk it, but never comment. This is common sense. It's splendid, girl, I'ma give you the business. Tell them the money business, the ride is tenant. So she ride me when I'm in it. I'ma be back in a minute. I'ma be back in a minute. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Yeah. And she love me when I'm in it. And she never be pretending. Nothing is friend.